Alright guys, I'm back. Thanks so much for bearing with me. I hope the wait wasn't too long. Thank you so much for staying here. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2018. And as you can see, we are going to be playing Zoroark Dimension Valley Attackers. So kind of like the decks that we used to see with Garbodor and like the Garbodor toolbox, but this time with Zoroark, simply because Zoroark allows us to access our deck a lot easier, and therefore we should not struggle to find the pieces that we need. So we have the 4-3 Zoroark line, Zoroark 210 HP, trade as an ability, discard a card and draw 2 cards, and Rage is dealing 20 damage for every Pokemon we have in play. But Zoroark, even though it will help with drawing cards, is not the main focus of the deck. The main focus of the deck are actually Necrozma, Tapu Koko, etc. in order to spread damage and then move them around with Spiritomb. So Necrozma GX 180 HP, Lighten prevents damage from colorless Pokemon to this one, which is not that big a deal, simply because there aren't that many great colorless type attackers as of today. But the whole idea is to use Black Ray GX, which deals 100 damage to all of our opponents, GX and EX, for a single double colorless energy cost, thanks to Dimension Valley. Then we also have a lot of great Dimension Valley attackers. We have Tapu Koko as well to spread even more damage. We have Mimikyu to use Copycat and copy whatever attack our opponent decided to use the previous turn, which is not a GX. We have Mew to copy Necrozma, to copy Mimikyu, and most importantly, with Dimension Valley and the Blend Energy, it can copy Damage Play, which allows you to move as many damage counters from your opponent's bench Pokemon to any other Pokemon as you like. So it's slightly worse than the Tapu Lele promo, simply because you can't move from the active to the bench, but you can move to the bench everywhere else. So it's just as good. And with the Mew, we can apply the Dimension Valley benefit, and so we can copy Damage Play with a single Blend Energy. That's the whole selling point of this deck. Now we have Wanori as well as an anti-Night March measure. We have Wofet with its ability Bite Barricade, which stops our opponent's abilities and ours as well. But we are controlling the card, so we should be able to have control over what happens. And Psychic Assault, after Necrozma has dealt so much damage, is probably a really good way to finish off our opponent's Pokemon. We have the Sudowoodo to control other Zoroark's damage output, and we have the Mew, as I mentioned, to copy other basic Pokemon. Now, as far as energy goes, we have the 4 Blend, which is the whole reason why this deck can potentially work, and then we have the 4 DCE as well. Now, aside from that, we also have, for draw, we have 3 Sycamore, 2 N, 1 Mallow, 1 Bridget, 1 Colress, and 1 Teammates for consistency. And then we have 2 Guzma, 1 Hexmaniac, 1 Acerola, and the super important Ninja Boy. Ninja Boy will hopefully allow us to do some really cool plays here and there. So that should be pretty fun to use. Then we have 4 Verse Seeker, 4 Ultra Ball, of course, 2 Rescue Stretcher, 1 Field Blower, 1 Enhanced Hammer to try and keep something under control for a key turn. We have 1 Special Charge, of course, as we are not running puzzles, and we have all Special Energy. We have 2 Choice Bands and 1 Floatstone as tool cards, and then finally we have Computer Search as the A-Spec of choice. So this is completely untested, guys. It's based off of the Japanese winning list that won a while back before Zoroark was even released in North America and in the rest of the world. So let's see what we can do with this very peculiar deck. Hopefully it works out well for us. It's gonna require a lot of thinking, a lot of concentration, and I might even ask you guys for help in the chat in case you see some play that maybe I'm missing. Okay, so taking a while to search for an opponent here. Taking a while to search for an opponent, that's fine. The bitrate seems to have stabilized, which is really nice. And let's call the heads flip here, which we lose, which is not terrible. It's actually not horrible. We seem to be up against a fire deck, so probably Necrozma will be pretty crucial. We're gonna lead with Wolfet to try and stop some sort of ability that my opponent might try to use. I'm not sure what else it could be. Necrozma seems to be very crucial here so that we can spread damage everywhere. And even if we lose the Spiritomb and or the Zoroark, we actually have two rescue stretchers to make sure we have the right Pokemon at the right time. So immediately my opponent starts off with a Scorched Earth, discarding a Fire Energy. And we see a Fire Energy attachment. We're gonna see a Battle Compressor. So we might just see a Nitro Tank GX next turn. Or my opponent is preparing for the Blacksmith on turn 2, which is also very valid. Definitely also very, very valid. So there's a discard of Sycamore, Acerola, and another fire. We're gonna see the Blacksmith on turn 1. And we're gonna see a pass. Okay. So we actually top deck the Lele instead of having to dig for it with Ultra Ball. That's really, really nice. Maybe benching the Necrozma was a mistake, but what's gonna happen here is I'm gonna bridge it for 2 Zoruas and the Tapu Koko. It's gonna be a nightmare trying to figure out the price cards here, but 2 Zorua and Tapu Koko, that's pretty cool to have. We have a Zoroark, we have the Mimikyu. Mimikyu is actually going to be incredibly crucial here, and Teammates is also a very, very crucial card. We do see that one blend is priced. We do see that one Stadium is priced. One Verse Seeker is priced. One Zorua is priced. But for now, this should suffice. The Ninja Boy was also available, which is nice. Wolfet is going down, right? We can even use Trickster GX from Zoroark, which is also pretty decent. We can copy Bright Flame with a Choice Band, and that's good enough. So I guess attaching to Zorua makes sense here. Out of all of the Pokemon, assuming Wolfet is gonna go down, attaching to Zorua seems okay, because then we can Trickster GX. We will lose the blend because it does provide fire. We would lose the 2 blends because they do provide fire. However, my opponent already benched 2 Volks. So, ooh, Enhanced Hammer, okay. So that's not ideal. We see another Turtonator on the bench. That's 400 damage that Necrozma is already dealing. 400 damage. And it sets up knockouts for Wolfet potentially. Or Zoroark. Zoroark is also a pretty good finisher. We see a a Burning Energy. We actually see a Burning Energy. We see a Burning Energy, and I don't know if the chat is not working or what happened, guys. Okay, so there's a knockout. Sudowoodo. My opponent benched Sudowoodo. Why is it not? Oh, because of Wolfet. Okay, so we can't bench anything else. So that means we can't Ultra Roll for Lele for Teammates. Or we can just top deck the Teammates. That definitely works for me. Okay, so how do we go about this? Miss Mila, yeah, apparently chat is very quiet. Maybe they're just really focused on on what I'm saying. But all good. Okay, so Teammates is obviously the key card here. Teammates is definitely the key card. We are going to use Teammates to make sure that Necrozma gets a huge hit off here. I can't attach 2 energy per turn, so Zoroark cannot. I don't have the baby Zoroark here. I don't have the foul play Zoroark. Okay, so we get the DC. I traded first before teammates, because off of the teammates there was a chance I would find something useful, right? So I can teammates for the stadium. I don't have bench space, otherwise I would try for a Mimikyu play. Like Mimikyu, energy, and choice band would have been the ideal. But I already have the DC, so I'm actually just gonna grab another Zoroark, because more Zoroarks means more cards, and therefore I can't speak today. More cards, and therefore access to what we do need more easily available. So there's a stretcher. The thing is, if or once Necrozma goes down, it's gonna be another turn, because for us to use Spiritomb, we do need to have 2 bench spaces instead of just 1. But that's fine. That can easily, like, we can take knockouts with Wolfed, we can take knockouts with Zoroark as well. So we're just gonna Black Rage GX and deal 400 damage. What could happen is we knock out this guy. If I spread once with Coco, that's also pretty fine here. We're definitely gonna see a knockout on the Necrozma. There's no way we don't see a knockout on the Necrozma. And yeah, using Black Ray GX to deal 400 damage seems, or is pretty nice. Definitely feels pretty nice. Once Necrozma goes down, we can just Verse Seeker teammates once again. We see the choice band, we see the energy. Huh. Interestingly enough, still no steam up. Oh, there it is. So doing things in a peculiar order for my opponent. Doing things in a peculiar order. And we see a Segamore. Okay. So what's the plan next turn? Next turn, if I spread, I will have 500 damage in play. My opponent will be down to 2 prize cards. Or I could take a knockout with Zoroark, because my opponent only has 1 energy in play, and the removal of the stadium could actually prompt me to do that. Salud. The removal of the stadium could actually prompt me to do that. This Entei, it's not that big a deal, can have 2 tool cards. Flame Screen reduces damage, Heat Tackle requires too many energy. So we're gonna see the Bright Flame, we're gonna see the knockout here. And now my opponent needs 100% a Blacksmith, right? Next turn, and 2 fire energy off of his hand in order to punish a knockout by Zoroark. The Guzma means if I'm able to draw a DC naturally, I would really like to find N. N plus DC would be ideal, right? So I'm gonna trade away the Spiritomb because I can just put them back with Stretcher. There's DC and there's Versus Seeker, so I'm gonna get rid of the Kuzma now. And there's the N. Okay, that works. That definitely works. If I Stretcher the Wob also gets very nice knockouts here. I think I'm gonna risk Stretcher the Wob, because without Wob I don't have knockout actually, or without another bench Pokemon I don't have knockout. And I'm gonna play this, remove this and the Floatstone to make the decision awkward for my opponent. Or I can keep this and I remove the 2 tool cards. Even if he gets extra draw, he's gonna need 2 fire, which he would be discarding with the Scorched Earth, 2 fire, or a choice band and a fire. But if I leave the choice band, then he only needs Blacksmith and fire to get the return KO. So, and the Floatstone makes the retreat awkward. Maybe getting rid of the Scorched Earth and choice band was the best play though. Okay, I'll keep the Spiritomb in the discard pile simply because we might not have time to use Mew plus Spiritomb, which is a lot. It's definitely a lot to ask for. I could computer search for Dimension Valley. Could definitely do that. Mimikyu seems okay here though. So I feel like I just take the knockout now. Nothing else I really need here. I can keep the computer search as a life card in my deck. And we take the first knockout here. So we close out the difference in prizes. My opponent is down to 3 cards and he needs Blacksmith, 1 Fire Energy and then a Choice Band or a Fire Energy to get a return KO here. Without those 3 very specific cards, he does not take a knockout here. And he promotes the Turtonator, so maybe he does. Maybe he did get them. Maybe he did get them off of the end. There's 4 cards, he needs 3 very specific cards. I feel like leaving the stadium was smart though, because that's tempting for him to draw extra cards, but then that might take away a Fire Energy, which he might have needed to get a knockout. So things are looking good here, I think things are looking good. And the stream is looking good, so that's great. Can you guys watch in 720p or 1080p? I think 720p is probably the maximum. Okay, my opponent thinking really hard about his next move. We see an Ultra Ball. Yeah, Mimikyu is really nice here. Mimikyu is really nice against these huge attacks. I was thinking of running a counter energy version of this deck, but Tablemon promo would make this deck so good. The fact that you need Mew and Spiritomb, or have an energy that sticks and then have to use Ninja Boy, that's really bad. Okay, so we see an Ultra Ball for the Lele, 1 card in hand. That means if he has Blacksmith, he doesn't get a knockout. If he doesn't have Blacksmith, we are okay here. 720p 60, no issues. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And 720p is the max. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Zoro Dust Noir. This is not Zoro Dust Noir. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Dust Noir does what Lele does, right? But it does it with a stage 2. Does it as much as you want. Best deck in the format, USP 45 Master. I know it did well in seniors or juniors in San Jose. I know it won one of the divisions. It's definitely, it sounds like a very fun deck to play for sure. Okay. Using Battle Compressor. What did my opponent discard for the Ultra Ball? Ultra Ball and Volk, and then with the Compressor he discarded Shaman, Volk, and Kiawe. And there we see the Sycamore. So Zoroark is guaranteed to survive, which is really nice. We will probably just end up taking 2 more prize cards here, and then either Wob or Mimikyu can just knock out either of the Volks or the other Zoroark. So yeah. Hello Javoxa, thank you so much for being here. And Zoro plus Mallow makes it work. Okay, that's fair. That makes sense. I can see how that's good. I assume it has Necrozma GX as well, right? It's like a different version of this deck. Okay, so we see a Choice Band, and we're gonna see the Nitro Tank GX. So my opponent recognizes that the Turtonator is or will be going down, and therefore he needs to lead or try to close out the game with a non-GX attacker. But with a huge hand we have, with all the resources we get to draw off of Zoroark, I don't think there's much my opponent can actually do anymore. We don't have a GX attack anymore, so we can't use Trickster GX. What I can do is, and once again, attach energy to Wob, replace the stadium, play an Ultra Ball, discarding these 2 cards which are not very useful anymore, and then grab whatever, because I'm just gonna Verse Seeker for N, and then after we end we trade, so that we have a lot more options. after we trade, instead of trading and then playing N, we would be restricted to 4 cards. We instead N and then trade. That way we will have we will have 7 cards to work off of with. And we definitely want to discard, like, our next win condition is simply Guzma knockout, right? Which we have Guzma. So all we need to do is get closer to a Guzma or Seeker. We already have the Guzma in our hand. We get an energy. I can play this because that means we get the extra energy as well. And Entei, like, it might take a knockout, sure, but then all we need to do is Guzma. All we need to do is Guzma, and we are good to go. Maybe I should have retreated and attacked with Wob. That means I keep the 2. I mean, assuming Zoroark goes down here, that means I get to keep both Zoroarks alive. But yeah. And Javoxa, yeah, tomorrow will be the last expanded stream in Spanish. I know a lot of people in Spanish don't mind too much for expanded, so I actually could be convinced to start streaming standard tomorrow in Spanish instead of expanded. Because on Wednesday I will definitely not be streaming, but then on Thursday, which would be English once again, that day will definitely be standard, I think, depending on how I feel for Dallas. Maybe I'll feel like I need to play more. And we see a Versus Seeker, so N is the only card. Oh, my opponent doesn't even have N, so there's no way we lose here. There's no way we lose. Well, I guess, well, we're not gonna lose, strictly speaking. My opponent could delay the win. Ooh, we see Shaman. So why play Verse Seeker before using Shaman? Oh, Field Blower, that's what I was fearing. Well, as long as he doesn't find another Enhanced Hammer. And yes, Miss Mila, I am going to Dallas. I will be going to Dallas. I'm going to every North American regional, so yeah. Okay, so my opponent just took the knockout, no N, no Sycamore, no anything. So all we need to do is attach an energy, Guzma, and knock out the Volk with our Wob here. Could have also taken a knockout with we could have taken a knockout with Zoroark if we could find a DC or something. So we had a lot of options. So yeah, pretty nice. The deck worked nice. That's obviously a really good matchup for us. So let's jump into a ladder once more and see if we can find a tougher matchup. Yeah, maybe running Espion here would be good as well, to have that as an option. And yeah, I'll definitely be around. It seems like everyone is going to be at Dallas, right? Everyone is going to Dallas. I generally didn't think any other regional would get close to Memphis numbers, and it seems like Dallas already will be bigger. So that's really amazing. That's really amazing. Ooh, our hand is not ideal. We're going first. We're gonna be losing the special charge. We might even lose the energy depending on what my opponent started off with. Yeah, there are over 1,000 people signed up for Masters and like 1,500 players overall between TCG and VGC, maybe more. Ooh, we see a Circuitry and a Zorua. What is this then? We can't. Oof. Oh no, we can't touch Circuitry with Hex Maniac. What am I saying? So yeah, I feel like we just do this and we Sycamore here. We have Hex, so we don't need to be afraid of Circuitry's ability. Oh, what a hand. What a hand. I'll play the Spiritomb so that I don't lose, I guess. I might lose. It was actually 909 registered in Memphis and 949 played in round 1. Ooh, with Zoroark, Circuitry, Vileplume, interesting. That's an interesting approach. We're gonna see a computer search. And we're gonna see a rainbow to the circuitry. Okay. And my opponent, ooh, he's gonna use his GX attack. So goodbye Zoroark. Our hand is so bad. Our hand is so bad. Why is it so bad? We're now at 7 prizes and ooh, what a top deck. What a top deck. Okay, so I'm gonna attach to the Spiritomb. And then I really don't want to end though. If I Ninja Boy, what can I Ninja Boy into that helps me here? Nothing really, right? So I'll just end. Sucks that we have to give my opponent a better hand potentially, but it's okay, I guess. Okay, so we found a very decent hand. I definitely want an Enhanced Hammer. I definitely want an Ultra Ball. I want an Ultra Ball, Mimikyu, and Choice Band, I think. For Zoroark or for Lele? I mean, my Zorua should be safe here, right? My Zorua should be safe. So... and I'm not going to hit circuitry anyways. Bridget is available. I generally don't know what to get here. I feel like Zoroark has to be it. Okay, and then I get rid of the special energy. Not ideal. Probably the Floatstone actually. I do have a few free retreaters, so probably the Floatstone. And okay, so we get Guzma, we get a Zorola. We're gonna attack for 0 damage, which is fine. What does this do? Put circuitry to sleep, potentially. It only prevents damage. And there we see a Bridget. We see a Brigetti Spaghetti. Okay, ooh, grabs Lele. So my opponent's intentions are very clear. He's going to take knockout with Lele. Okay. Now, please, I want my own Lele here. Ninja Boy. Ninja Boy gives me Lele, kind of. Except not really. I mean, I can Ninja Boy into Mew. I can't even get a knockout on the Oddish because it has 50 HP. I don't have any other basic Pokemon. Okay, so I'll computer search then. Ninja Boy and a Zorola. And then I will Lele for Bridget. No, I'll just Bridget. I don't need to Lele for Bridget. Yeah, Bridget here. I can get more things going. Definitely another Zorua. Definitely Coco. And definitely Wub, I think. Those 3 seem good. And then 3 Pokemon, so Oricorio could also do some sort of damage, but what I can do here is retreat and start spreading with Coco. I don't get to hit circuitry, but I get to put damage on the board. And Necrozma is priced, I believe. Necrozma is priced, so this is fine though. We put 100 damage on the board, which is really nice. Hello George, thanks so much for being here. You got a playset of Leafeon and 2 Glaceon. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. Seems like my opponent top decked the Zoroark because he already had Zorua and played last turn, so that was his top deck. That must be very nice. And hello Diamond Solo, thanks so much for being here. And I actually don't do pre-releases. I don't know if there were any last weekend, but I don't do pre-releases. It's not my thing, and I definitely won't be doing them in the future anymore because I got told that from now on Parallel City. I was told, I think the Zorua is this card here. I was told that they will only be bringing in Spanish product to Mexico now. So that's obviously not great for me because I can't use those cards in the United States tournaments. So that's actually really rough. That's really rough for me. Ooh, this Colress is really nice. This Colress is really nice. I know there's one next weekend, but I was told that all the product that arrived was in Spanish. So if I buy, and yeah, in Mexico you can use English cards everywhere. The rule is you can use English and the language from the country if you're playing in that country. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna buy any Spanish cards because I literally cannot use them in the United States. But those are the only ones they are going to sell here in Mexico. But then that doesn't bode well with me because I can't support my local stores or my local community. I need to purchase cards in English in the United States. So I hope they change that rule for next season. I mean, it literally makes no sense. If they want to draw in more people to their regionals and they can see that international people are traveling to other countries' regionals, why not modify the rule where you can play cards from the country you're from, just like Worlds or Internationals? And it's okay. It's no big deal for me, thankfully, because of the support that Tabletop brings to the channel. So huge shout out to Tabletop and also Soccer Scoop and all the Patreon supporters. It's thanks to those guys that I'm able to do what I do, and of course you guys, you people who are watching and liking and supporting and etc. Okay, so there's a Vileplume. I should have played the first Seeker preemptively. That was silly. There's a Vileplume. I can easily retreat into Wob to deny abilities and therefore give me items. However, I don't think it's that big a deal actually. I really don't think it's that big a deal. Okay, so I got lucky off of the off of the top deck. Maybe I should have just used Mallow for the Dimension Valley. I was still able to get it, so I can save the Mallow for a different time. I think I will bench the Zorua, and my opponent has 3 Pokemon in the discard pile. That's only 3 damage counters for Oricorio. I will be taking a prize card here from the Oddish, which does eliminate some damage from the field, which doesn't make me too happy. But I'll just Flying Flip again. Like, we can be patient. We're in no hurry. And the prize... Ooh, we have 7. The prize was the Zoroark. The prize could have been Necrozma. Like, after I use Necrozma, that should be it. And yeah, half the regionals are expanded as well. It's 1 standard, 1 expanded, 1 standard, 1 expanded. You bought a French computer search because it's 1/3 the price. And yeah, I mean that makes sense. That makes sense, and it's really cool that you can use like I can use Spanish cards here in Mexico. The thing is, I can't use Spanish cards outside of Mexico, which is really silly. Okay, so my opponent finally goes on the offensive, knocks out my Spiritomb as well, which puts a dent on my damage moving plants. Definitely puts a dent on those. Okay, but what I can do, that's the first Kuzma. No, my opponent has 3 Kuzmas in his discard pile, so this is going to be the plan. I'm going to read. Well, let's trade first. Let's go about this the right way. Okay, so I'm going to trade first the Ultra Ball. Yeah, and I get some okay cards. Next, I'm going to trade away Lele. Yeah, Lele. Oricorio seems potentially still useful. The more knockouts I take. And I was gonna retreat into Wob to use Guzma, but this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna retreat. That means I can play my Versus Seeker. I don't think I need to do it just yet. I always have this option. Pretty much. Well, not necessarily actually. How many Versus Seekers are in the discard pile? None. Okay, so I will preemptively Versus Seeker for Guzma. Could also grab Hex Maniac. But this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna bring up the Vileplume. No Floatstone on the Vileplume means I can just keep spreading for as long as I want. I keep getting more damage into play. And I'm pretty okay here. I am pretty okay. Quaddy Hammer adds so much consistency. Okay, so there's the first trade. My opponent should only have one Guzma left, and well, I guess they have Lusamine as well to get back Guzmas, which makes sense. Hello, Sir Banish. Thanks so much for being here. Ooh, Acerola. Okay, that's a card. Acerola is definitely a card. Wait, what happened to the DCE from his Zoroark? Oh, he chose to pick up Zoroark? What? My opponent actually chose to pick up Zoroark to remove damage from the field. Okay, let's Mallow here. Yeah, my Necrozma is prized. That's the issue. That's a big issue here. Necrozma being prized is such a big issue. I'll grab these two, or I'll put these two at the top rather. I know they are coming up, and yeah, I'm gonna have to do a very like elaborate play here, but we should be okay. Do I discard a Zoroark? That seems okay. I'll just get the two cards. And then I spread again. Or do I Guzma up the circuitry? I really want to rescue Stretcher before, like my opponent could target down Wob. That could be a thing. I'll just spread, I guess. I can wait a turn. I'm putting 100 damage on the board every time. My opponent took out 80, but that's fine. We have 100, 110, 310, 310 plus 70, 380 damage. Have 380 damage and 6 prizes to go. Have I tried Zoroark Magnezone? Nope, I have not tried Magnezone Zoroark. This is why you run Caladian. Fair. That's fair. We see a DC. Are we gonna see a Guzma now? Or an Acerola? Oh, we see the last Guzma. On the Mew though. Okay, Mew is fine. Mew is fine, I think. Mew is fine. Okay, so do we need to eliminate threats? Oh, we don't even have enough damage here to do so. That's the last Guzma though. That is the last, absolute last Guzma. We're gonna take another prize here as well. We do need some sort of free retreater, I guess. Well, not necessarily. This is so technical though. Yeah, I think I just flying flip again. Just get more damage on board, get another prize card, which is fine. Versus Seeker, that's not Necrozma. So 3 Acerola, ugh. Removes 120 damage from the board. And takes a knockout right there. Okay, so this has to be the turn. So I have 270, 310 damage to work with. Best I can do is knock out the Zoroark, I think. Okay, so I'll rescue Stretcher first. Shuffle the Spiritomb, the Mew, and the Coco. And then I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So let's do this. I will Ultra Ball, Field Blower, and Sycamore for Mew. And then my opponent doesn't seem to be running any stadium cards of its own, so I feel safe discarding Dimension Valley and the Lele. And then I will grab Spiritomb. And I need to Guzma here. So okay, let me read Spiritomb again. I can move damage from benched Pokemon anywhere I want. So if I bring up the Circuitry, I can no longer play item cards. Probably not a great idea, but I think. Okay, if my opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokemon in the discard pile. 7. Okay, let's start with damage play. So I can move 2 from Zoroark to the Vileplume to get a knockout, and that will put 2 more. That's 9 Pokemon in the discard pile. Wait. Oh, oops. I only need 1. Okay, so that's 2 Pokemon, and then that's 1 more, that's 3. So my opponent will have 1, 2, 3, that's 10 Pokemon in the discard pile, correct? So if I move 6, then Oricorio can take the last prize card by knocking out the last 2 prize cards by knocking out Lele. Oops. So confusing. I have to click Lele, then Zorua. Lele, Zorua, Lele, Zorua, Lele, Zorua 6 more times. So I get both knockouts. And then by knocking out the Vileplume, I don't have to worry about being item locked. So that works. So very slowly but surely, we made it so that we could secure a prize. Now, my opponent could Acerola. My opponent could definitely Acerola the Lele here. Ooh, I'm missing 1 actually. Ooh, that was silly. I'm actually missing 1. Oops. Okay, then I just need to fill up my bench and knock out Lele with Zoroark. That also works. That's another win condition. I was mixing things up. That works. Yeah, those are the 3 KOs. Okay. So 1 prize card is N. The other prize card is Necrozma, just a little bit too late to the party. And the other prize card is a DC, which is one of the cards we wanted. So all we need to do is Guzma, DC, knockout on the Lele. That's all we need. We're gonna see a Lusamine. That is the supporter of choice, and we see Lusamine and Karen. So my opponent recognizes that he's lost so many resources. We see a DC on Circuitry, and this should be the win. My opponent knocks out the Mew, that's fine. He plays Lele down, that's also fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 damage counters, it's not enough to knock out Lele. We are too short, but we should be okay here. We double bench, Verseeker, Guzman knockout. So GG to my opponent. And this is the beauty of this deck. You have so many win conditions, you have so many options. And there's a victory. There we go. There we go. So yeah, pretty interesting and pretty intense match, for sure. That was very fun to play though. That was like very methodical, very slowly but surely wins a match. And so with that, guys, we are done with the Zoroark Dimension Valley deck. I really wish I could showcase it a little bit more. It's been 2 games. If you guys want to look at it or want to try it yourselves, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, the list will be down below. It was a very fun deck to play for sure. And now we are going to move on to the very last deck, which will be Turbo Dark. So don't go anywhere, guys, please. I will be right back. Oops. I will be right back. Okay, guys, don't go anywhere.